It was one of those hot Michigan summer afternoons when even walking from one driveway to another seemed to take a little more effort than usual. My sister and I had stopped at an estate sale at a beautiful township home, and like so many times before, I wasn't really looking for furniture or antiques. What always catches my attention are the things that preserve memories, like old photographs, family slides, home movies, films, diaries, and forgotten audio recordings. Over the years, I've learned that some of history's most interesting discoveries are not found in museums. They're quietly waiting in someone's attic or tucked away in the corner of a garage. As I wandered through the sale, an old movie projector caught my eye, and I walked over expecting to find just another 8mm movie projector, not even Super 8, just 8mm. I already owned several of those, and so I almost continued on. But then I looked into the bottom of the projector case. There they were, 3 dusty reels of 16mm film. I picked them up and immediately carried them to the couple that were conducting the sale. They were really kind people, and I asked if they would sell only the films, and the gentleman smiled and offered all 3 reels to me for a couple of dollars. Within minutes, they were mine. Not even minutes, seconds, nanoseconds. As I carried them back to the car, I couldn't stop wondering what they might contain. Family memories? Travel films, perhaps? Or maybe an old educational program? I absolutely had no idea what I had just brought home. Once I arrived home, though, the mystery only deepened for me. One reel carried a German title, another contained several German title cards. The third reel had no label at all. It quickly became clear that before I could understand the films, I first had to understand the language. So working together with my longtime research partner, Chatgpt, we carefully translated each surviving German title card and compared the reels scene by scene until the puzzle slowly began to come together. What emerged surprised both of us. The 3 reels were not separate films at all. Together they formed a silent German adaptation of one of the world's best-loved fairy tales, Hansel and Gretel. And what's really neat to me is that it is not an animated film. It is a live-action film. Produced by an Ozafan home movie company, these reels were intended to bring classic stories into ordinary family living rooms during the early years of home cinema. For nearly a century, they quietly survived. Once the reels were placed into their proper order, the story unfolded almost exactly as generations have remembered it. Rather than interrupt the experience with constant narration, I'd like to simply invite you to enjoy these surviving scenes from a forgotten silent film. These are stills that I shot from the actual sequences. Perhaps for a few moments we can imagine ourselves sitting in a family living room many decades ago. The lights are turned low, the projector is gently clicking, while Hansel and Gretel flickers across the screen once again. When the final frame faded away, I found myself thinking less about the fairy tale and more about the journey those 3 little reels had taken. Someone purchased them many years ago, and someone carefully stored them. Decades passed. The projector was eventually placed in an estate sale. Most people probably saw only an old machine. Hidden inside its case was a forgotten story waiting for someone to notice it again. And for a couple of dollars, three nearly forgotten reels found a new home. Today they have been photographed, translated, carefully assembled, and preserved so that they can be enjoyed once again. To me, that is one of the quiet joys of history. Sometimes preservation isn't about uncovering something famous. Sometimes it's simply taking the time to rescue something that another generation treasured. Those small acts matter because every photograph, every diary, every reel of film, and every family keepsake is a reminder that ordinary lives leave extraordinary stories behind. Well, thank you for joining me for another journey into the past.